Hey guys, I'm Christina. Welcome back to my channel where I teach you to be the CEO of your nursing license. So today I want to talk about travel nursing expenses. Let's be honest, guys, travel nursing is really expensive. And while travel nursing can still be lucrative, there's so much that depends upon that. And I just want to be real upfront with you about things that I think are expensive because travel nursing is definitely not going to be for everyone. Everyone has a different financial situation going on. So let's break down the cost of travel nursing. All right, so your very first expense is going to be traveling to a new destination, whether it be very far or close by. You are going to have to travel somewhere new, and that costs money. How are you going to get there? Are you going to drive there? Are you going to fly there? You're most likely going to need your car unless you are going to like New York City where there's really good public transportation. I personally have taken my car to every assignment. So cost number one, the wear and tear of your car. No agency is going to really reimburse you for that. So that's just something that's going to happen over time. You're going to be putting miles on your car and just the overall wear and tear of constantly traveling from a different location. You are going to have car wear. Up next is just like the general cost of traveling to a new city. If you are driving there, let's be real, guys, gas prices are insane right now. So you have to pay for the gas out there, or you have to pay for your flight out there. I would recommend not using a moving company. Just put what you can fit in your car. You really don't need to bring that much with you. Now, the good news is you will get a reimbursement for that initial contract with your agency to get money. Depending how far you go, you can get a tax-free reimbursement for your traveling expenses, but it's only one time. So if you renew a contract, you won't get it again. It's just that one-time moving fee. So for example, when I went from Dallas to Cleveland, I got $1,000. The same thing when I went from Dallas to Indianapolis. I did look at a contract out in Oregon, and it was going to be a $2,000 reimbursement because Dallas to Oregon is very far. So the highest I've seen is $2,000, and the average that I see is $1,000. So that $1,000 will cover you for your gas, and then just like staying in a hotel and meals while you are driving. Because honestly, like a lot of times you're probably not going to be able to do the drive in one day. So you're going to have to stop in a hotel for a night. So that $1,000 is yours to do what you want to do with. It's not like you have to sit there and submit an expense report with every little thing you spent the money on. They're just going to give you the $1,000. You do what you need to do with it. So the biggest thing you are going to spend money on is doubling your expenses. You have to double your expenses. I cannot stress this enough. It is completely illegal for you not to do that. I do not want you to get in trouble with the IRS for not doubling your expenses. If you get caught only paying rent in one location, you will have back taxes on everything. So it's very important. You cannot live in your mother's basement for free and pay rent in a new location. Like, you can't do that. So by doubling expenses, what that means is you have to have rent or a mortgage or something that you are paying in your home state. Your home state meaning wherever you're a resident of, wherever your driver's license is from, that's your home state. You have to pay rent there. Even if you don't own a home, that's okay. You have to be renting. If you don't want to rent a place, then you can rent from a friend or family member, but it has to be something that's actually within the market value. You can't give them $200. So if you're like me, you live, let's say in Dallas, your rent should be around $1,000. So that's something that you should be paying. Then on top of that, wherever you go, you have to pay a rent there. So when you look at these contracts, guys, it's really important to deduct, I would say, a good $2,000 off the top of whatever you think you're going to get paid, just because you know you're going to have to pay that in rent in another city. So let's say you're going to get $10,000 a month. Take away two, because you're going to have to spend that $2,000 at least in another city wherever you're going. So now you're looking at $8,000 a month, which is still really great because as a staff nurse in the South, for example, you're not going to make that a month. So yes, it's still lucrative, but these are expenses you have to think about before you take a contract, where you're not going to be making the money you think you are. The next big expense is you are going to be paying more money than what the average person in that city pays because of furnished expenses. So for example, I'm in Cleveland, I'm paying like $1,900 a month in rent here. If I actually lived in Cleveland, I could probably pay rent at like $1,200, $1,300 a month. but I need to find something furnished. I need to find something short term. I don't want to pay utilities. I don't want to set up internet. I want all of that included. So therefore the price is going to be higher for me because I'm only here for 13 weeks. Another thing you have to remember is you do not get paid time off. Anytime you take a day off, you're not getting paid. If you take a day off during your contract, you don't get your stipend for the day either. So you lose a lot of money when you take time off. If you take time off in between contracts, you don't get paid for that. So you only get paid when you work. So it's really important that you are saving money so that you can take time off. Another thing to consider is when you travel to a new location, you could be paying a lot more for the cost of living if it's an expensive city. So for example, I'm just going to keep using Dallas because that's where I live. Dallas is a reasonably affordable city, but if I were to take a contract out in California, any city in California, let's just say Los Angeles, the groceries are going to be more expensive, the gas is going to be more expensive, the rent is going to be more expensive, and those are all things that you have to pay for while you're out there. You have to eat. So, milk in Dallas is probably a little bit cheaper than it is in Los Angeles. All those things add up. So if you're going to an expensive city, expect to pay expensive prices on everything. So let's talk about reimbursements. The great thing about your agency is while they don't pay for housing, you are getting these tax-free stipends and you do get some reimbursements along the way. That first reimbursement you get is your initial moving expenses, usually around $1,000 tax-free money that you can use to move to a new city. That will cover your gas, that will cover any hotels you have to stay in, any meals you need to eat on the road. That will kind of cover everything at first. You will also get reimbursed for license renewal. So whatever state you live in, you have to renew your nursing license every 2 years. Your agency should pay for that. Also, if you have to go to a new state, let's say you take a contract out in a new state that you've never been to, we'll use Washington, for example. Washington is not a compact state. So if you're not from Washington, you have to buy a license out there. You have to get certified, all that stuff. Your agency will pay for all that. Another really sticky expense that people don't think about are those initial housing deposits. So if you decide not to do Airbnb, which some places it's not a good idea to do Airbnb because it can be so expensive. So if you try to go on Furnished Finder and you find someone you want to rent from, so many of them require housing deposits. Your agency's not going to give you the money for that. You have to come up with that. So if they want like a $1,200 housing deposit, that comes out of your money. Now, hopefully you'll get that money back at the end, but that's something you need to consider. If you're doing this every 13 weeks in a new location, you have to have a savings account because you're going to have to be paying these housing deposits. So that very first contract you take might be the most difficult one because you have to have cash put aside. So moral of the story is while travel nursing is lucrative, it is also very expensive. It may not be for you. Hopefully it is, but definitely you need to put money away. Don't go spend all your money at Target. Make sure you're saving money. You're gonna need that in between contracts and you're gonna need that at the beginning of your contracts when you have all these fees that come up. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below and I will get back to you. And I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.